ready to go, red hot.
When a guy has come from a knee injury, the range of movement and things of that sort, so that's a no-no. I'm very impressed with Tilak Verma.
Shubman Gill, a certainty for everyone?
Yeah.
For me.
Yes. Let the players watch this program, and the guys who have not been picked, let them come after you, because we are going to say what chairman ne pick kiya hai.
As the name suggests, it's Selection Day, a first of its kind show on Star Sports where, along with our fantastic, pertinent, credible panel, we try and pick India's best potential squad to win the continent and then the biggest prize, the World Cup. Well, Asia Cup starts in a few days, as we all know, and the World Cup immediately after. All the action exclusively right here on Star Sports, the home of cricket. But feeling at home, we've got Indian cricket's first World Cup winners. Joining me here today, donning the hat of a selector, let me welcome Sandeep Patil and Ravi Shastri, who've been having a quick chat before we started the show. Welcome, Sandeep bhai. Welcome, Shaz.
Thanks, Jatin.
Pleasure, Jatin.
Nice to be on the show.
Yes.
Just a reminder, today you're here in a dual capacity as obviously World Cup winners, but also as selectors. Sandeep bhai is, of course, he's been in that role. 2013 comes to your mind, when he was the chief selector when India last won an ICC trophy. Some bold calls were taken then. Ravi Shastri, the head coach in 2019, where India suffered a heartbreak in the semis. But he's seen the best of a lot of our seniors and blooded in a lot of the youngsters. So it's perfect to have the two of you playing the role of a selector. And MSK Prasad joining us as well. 2019 chief selector. He knows the pressure. He knows what's perhaps right. And will also know what perhaps would be the lesson heading into this tournament. So once again, a welcome to all three of you. Shaz, first things first. Do you think 2 months to go for the World Cup, we've got more questions than answers?
Not really. I think, now I'm a junior in this selection panel because MSK and Sandy have been selectors before. So I don't know what it is to be like amongst four other selectors. But obviously the think tank would have thought about a group of 18 or 20 players, at least 4 or 5 months before the World Cup. And then given opportunities to each one of them, kept an eye on the injuries to, whichever players who were part of the mix who have got injuries and just come back. And then, pick the right guys. And it's, for me, pretty straightforward because you'll go on current form and you'll go on, the 18 players. There aren't 20, 22 to choose from. There's only about 18 or 19 to choose from. And they'll have to go with current form and looking at the balance and the combinations, what they want. So it's pretty, I don't think it's a headache. It's a headache. Obviously, there's always a headache when you pick one instead of another and one guy or two guys have to miss out. That is the only headache.
It's a headache that we've decided to take on today amongst the three of you. The idea is that we float all the possible names, and with the three of you as our selectors on the show today, we hope that by the end of this episode, we've got a 15 that everybody maybe agrees upon, or if not, then it's always great to have a debate on the panel. Sandeep bhai, you've handled a massive transition during your tenure. You had to drop some senior, proven, tested names. What is the one big thing that's on your mind, considering that today is a big selection meeting for the upcoming World Cup?
I think I'll agree with Ravi. When you're talking about big tournaments like Asia Cup or a World Cup, you don't go by the past performances or, who's who. When you take the responsibility as a selector and when you said that I took the decision, I never took the decision. It was the panel, the selection panel, which we all discussed, we argued. And then looking at the future, looking at the form, looking at the fitness, then we decided. It so happened that 2012, 2013, the many senior cricketers were struggling. When I say struggling, the reputation which they had carried and the brilliant performance which they had given all these years was not, up to the mark. So naturally, as a selector, you think about Indian cricket first rather than thinking about any individual cricketer. And unfortunately, we had to take some calls on senior players, and I'm happy that it worked well.
Okay, we'll get down to business, gentlemen. I will be the spectator, floating in the names, maybe sometimes playing devil's advocate. You guys are the bosses. Shaz, how we've designed the show is I will spell out some names which we're hoping expectedly are certainties. So maybe a show of hands or an emphatic yes. So we start off with the first name that will come down on the sheet. That's Captain Rohit Sharma. A quick show of hands from both of you.
Yeah. No question. Yeah.
The MSK is there as well. Rohit Sharma, captain, he's been at the helm for some times now. He's seen a couple of big tournaments, so probably that experience, this is his big chance at leaving a legacy. Shaz, as a captain, if there was one thing, if you were part of it, as one thing that you'd want Rohit to keep in mind or maybe do differently, what would that be for you?
I think he's a seasoned captain. Come the World Cup, he'll up the ante. Bilaterals are one thing. When it comes to big tournaments, you switch on in a different manner. He knows the nucleus of the players he has. It's about him, ensuring that everyone knows in that batting lineup that they don't own batting positions. You've got to be flexible with your batting lineup. No matter who the name of the player is, you do not own positions. You got to have flexibility that is paramount and use the right guys against the right opposition. Hear me out there. Right oppositions at the right number.
In fact, later on, I'll come to one of the statements that Rohit has also just issued recently about your own positions. They're probably available in clubs, not when you're playing for your country. But the next name, of course, he's got a World Cup medal, but he'd probably like to leave it on a high. In fact, add a few more and have some telling knocks in it. Virat Kohli, gentlemen, number 3.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, he's part of the top. I mean, a 4 or 5 if you pick, then they automatically walk in.
Before I just move on to the next name, Ravi, we know that he's the greatest of his generation. We've seen that in this format over the last decade. Would you just want Virat to cut, copy, paste his formula, or is there some room to maybe pick up steam given how the number of runs now scored have gone up in the recent past?
I mean, you've got to evolve with the game, no matter how big a player you are. And the same applies to Virat Kohli. There's no question about that. You watch around the world, you look at players like Joe Root. You look at players like Steve Smith, for that matter, Williamson, for that matter, Kohli himself, in certain stages in his career. You've got to evolve, you've got to move with the times because, there are innovations out there. There's the players who want to up the ante. There's a different template in place at the moment as opposed to, say, 6 years, 7 years ago when what was the requirement in 10 overs as opposed to where people look at it now in 10 overs. So, yes, you got to involve all the time and not just Virat Kohli. Every batsman in that lineup.
Okay, next name we're offering is Hardik Pandya, the premier all-rounder, medium pace all-rounder.
Yes, no automatic.
Automatic choice. Sandeep bhai, we just saw in the West Indies as well. Is Hardik for you, if you were picking, is he your finisher role at number 6 for the last 15-20 overs, that big finish? Or did he just see maybe a thought that he could be guiding the innings at number 5?
Well, it depends on what number he will be playing and under what situation. All depends on, that it's very difficult for me to say before the tournament has begun that what actually he should be doing. It's a different responsibility for different numbers, Openers are different, middle order is different. So I don't know what number he's going to bat. But he should not forget that he is in the team. He will be in the team as an all-rounder and not just as a batsman. He has shown, responsibility when he handled his Gujarat team in the IPL. So hope he does well, whatever number he bats.
Okay, the next name that automatically sort of picks itself up, Ravindra Jadeja.
Yes.
Automatic.
Yes, I think right now he's one of the best finishers that we have, so it's an automatic choice.
I see him as a complete package. I see.
In fact, Jatin is probably the best all-rounder in the world at the moment across formats.
Correct.
Fair enough. Absolutely, Shaz. Agree with that. However, just given, and we will come to numbers 4 and 5 in a bit. But as it stands, presuming all of them are right-handers, Ravindra Jadeja becomes your only left-handed choice at number 7. MSK, given the sort of phase that he's going through, do you think there could be a temptation? I mean, if you were sitting in the panel as you are right now, are you maybe also suggesting that if India wants, he could be used as a floater, left-hander, maybe higher up in the order?
Absolutely, why not? He's been fantastic form if you see across different formats. I mean, if he's able to deliver in a test cricket in different parts of the world, that means he's fully ready for to take on any role right now. So I have absolutely no doubt in case the team requires, I think he can definitely be used up the order, provided if you don't pick another left-hander.
Now the fun starts. Now the fun starts. These were the 4 that we picked. They picked themselves automatically. Now I will come to each one of you, and I want you to offer a name who you again think should be an automatic choice. Certainties for the World Cup will form the backbone. Shaz, let me start with you. One name apart from the 4, which automatically goes in the 15.
You have picked 4 who could be in the top 7 of the Indian batting lineup. There are 3 other positions where I think 2 left-handers have to come in, apart from the 4 you mentioned. Now, this is where the selector's role comes in, because they are watching, they know who is the guy who's hot. If Tilak Verma is hot, bring him in. If Jaiswal is hot, bring him in. But bring 2 in at the top. So if you have persisted with Ishan Kishan for the last 6-8 months, and he's going to keep wickets, he comes in any case. But get 2 more left-handers, 2 left-handers in that top, including Jaddu. There should be 3 in that top 7.
Fabulous, Shaz. Let me start one by one. Should I take Ishan Kishan, given the wicket keeping, as your first name that you offered here to begin with?
Yeah. He's been keeping for the last 15 months. Why go somewhere else?
Okay, Sandeep Bhai, MSK, Ishan Kishan.
Yes, he's been part of the team, and he's doing well.
I will come to that question, MSK, but Ishan Kishan in your 15, yes?
Yes.
Okay, now let me come to his role. Shaz, if KL Rahul is fit and okay to keep, does Ishan still feature in your 11? Is Ishan your first choice wicket keeper, batter? What is the role we're looking at?
See, when you're talking of a player who's not played and is recovering from injury, to think of him in the 11 of an Asia Cup is you're asking a little too much of the player himself. And then you're talking keeping. When a guy has come from a knee injury, the range of movement and things of that sort, so that's a no-no, straight. You first play cricket. Yeah. First play cricket, see how he goes, and then, by the time the Asia Cup gets over, there's still little time for the World Cup. Then see how things are. But for starters, let's not be drawn into that conversation. Straight Ishan Kishan.
Okay, Sandeep Bhai?
I think the policy has already been made, if I'm right, because when I was with NCA, then when I joined as the chief selector, anybody who was, suffering from injury or coming out of injury had to play some competitive cricket before even looking at him for the test side. So I absolutely accept what Ravi has said, and I hope that policy continues.
Ishan Kishan has been phenomenal in the top order. 1, 2, or 3. Then is Ishan Kishan, are we slotting him as Rohit Sharma's partner, or are we looking at another batting role for him? MSK?
I think that is the toughest part right now. See, if you are looking at Shubman Gill to open with Rohit, then the way to send Ishan Kishan will is a cause of concern, because if you see some of the experiments some of the roles that he has played at number 4, number 5, I don't think so he's done justification at that particular role. The best thing that he enjoys is to bat up the order. So we've seen in T20 World Cups where he's been where he was made to bat at number 4, number 5. I don't think he was all at sea and at that particular order. So I don't know. Somehow we need to accommodate him at the top of the order, and probably that left-right combination of Rohit and Rohit and Ishan Kishan might come handy because Rohit always enjoyed wonderful company of Shikhar Dhawan. If you see, post that Shikhar Dhawan, the form of Rohit also has been definitely a cause of concern. So I don't know. The best place for Ishan Kishan is to bat up the order.
Shah, so what do we do? Then there's Rohit and Virat, and then one opener slot where Shubman Gill has obviously had a phenomenal 2023. Where are you playing Ishan Kishan?
At the top of the order, nowhere else. And the others have to be flexible. Between Rohit, Virat, and Shubman Gill, that can be 2, 3, 4. But that's a very important point MSK made there because I was the coach at that time when, I keep saying that people don't give the credit what Shikhar Dhawan deserves. I mean, that guy was an amazing player. You mentioned the World Cup, in 2019. When we lost that semi-final, when we had a brilliant World Cup, he was the missing man there. If that made such a big difference because a left-hander at the top of the order as opposed to 3 right-handers with the ball just swinging away and allowing teams to, get a grip on where to bowl and bowl consistently, was missing. So I think, and Rohit, is a different player. When he has a left-hander at the other end, he's a totally different player altogether. We've seen that in the stats, and stats don't lie over a period of time. So, I think a left-hand, right-hand batting combination at the top will help. Because again, if you push him down the order, if you tinker with his batting position, then, if you put him at 5, 6, it's useless. He doesn't know then how to play. The pressure is on him to bat differently. He's got a double hundred at the top of the order, close to a double hundred. He's got some runs for India. He scores quickly. The thing with Ishan Kishan, even if he's there for 30, 40 balls, he'll go. He'll get you off to a flyer.
And the fact is that India need to figure in a wicket-keeper, so that solves that problem. So, show of hands, Ishan Kishan and Rohit Sharma to open for the three of you?
Yeah.
Okay, Sandeep Bhai is not convinced. Sandeep Bhai, then what is your solution?
I think I'll go with Shubman Gill. Looking at his form, the argument which Ravi and MSK had, it's of course I understand that, but also it's very important for the team's sake of it, team's point of view, that whether Rohit Sharma is comfortable if his partner is left-hander. I don't agree there. I will go with Shubman Gill. And like Ravi and MSK said, that only position Ishan Kishan can bat is number 1. But that will be a big decision to take for Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma.
Jatin, just on Sandy's point, it's a very good point. See, because like you mentioned about Ishan Kishan doing well, Shubman Gill has had a fabulous 2023. Yeah. Now, this is where that flexibility comes. Where Rohit as a captain is vastly experienced. He can go at 3, he can go at 4, he can go at 1. So this is where you have to see the frame of the mind of the player. How would Shubman Gill feel if asked to bat at 3 or 4, as opposed to batting at the top? If that is the case where where he feels that he's the best at the top, the runs he's got of late has been phenomenal. So, this is where that flexibility comes into play and the captain will have to take the hard decision.
Shaz, sorry, I'm going to have to put you on the spot. Say you're in there. You leave this to the captain. The captain asked for a suggestion. You know what Virat has done at number 3. So between these 4, if you are to suggest your 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order, what would your suggestion be?
Those will be the 4 players in the top 4. And like I said, no one owns a position. If Virat has to bat at 4, he'll bat at 4. In the interest of the side.
Okay.
There were times I thought of it even in the previous 2 World Cups when I was the coach.
Even in 2019, we thought
of, I might have discussed that with MSK as well.
Exactly.
Of him batting at 4 just to break that top-heavy lineup. Because if we lost 2 or 3 at the top, we were gone. And it was proved. So just for breaking that, the experience, and if you look at Virat Kohli's record, he's got enough at number 4 as well. He's got a lot of runs at 4, maximum at 3. His best cricket he's played at 3. But you have to now see, it's always team before individual, Jatin, for me, right? And you have to see what is the best interest of the team, and then you accordingly pick the lineup.
Okay, so this has been a very, very interesting debate, and Ishan Kishan clearly seems to be the first choice. And like Ravi said, that he's got to figure out, the captain's got to figure out a way that Ishan Kishan bats in the top order, preferably with Shubman Gill maybe at the top. Sandeep, are you okay with that? Just a final nod. If Shubman Gill and Ishan open, Virat and Rohit figure out a 3 and 4 between them. You're okay with that top 4?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so Ishan Kishan comes in. So we've got Rohit, Virat, Ishan Kishan, and Shubman Gill, a certainty for everyone?
Yeah.
For me.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Best of friends, roommates, mates, Ishan Kishan and Shubman Gill, whether they play together or not, we shall find out. Just quickly coming to the bowling. Okay, Ishan Kishan was the one name that we started off with. Sandy Bhai, another name who for you is a definite certainty in this 15. Maybe from the bowling point of view?
You're talking about spinner or you're talking about medium paces?
Your pick. You can go with a Bumrah, you can go with a wrist spinner, someone you think is definitely going to walk into the 15.
I'll say Yajurvendra Chahal.
Yuzi Chahal, wrist spinner,
and Kuldeep Yadav. And Kuldeep Yadav too. So we have three spinners, Ravindra Jadeja, Kuldeep Yadav and Yajurvendra Chahal. From my side.
From your side, 2 wrist spinners. Shaz, during your tenure, you really reaped the benefits of having Kulcha played together in their prime. We saw that in 2019 as well. Both of them walk into the team for you?
Yeah, if you play, we might even go with 4 spinners in the 15, because this is India, not in England. If you, out of which 2 might be all-rounders, so which, helps you in a big way. So add those 2 wristies, add Akshar and Jadu. So that makes it 4. You add Shami, who's a certainty, right? Add Siraj, who's a certainty.
Okay, I'll come to that one by one.
I'm just telling you the certainties, and then you have to see Bumrah, how he goes in Ireland. You'll get to see how he goes, but for the moment, you might have to pick him. Yeah.
Okay, so Yuzi and Kuldeep, Sandy Bhai, Ravi Bhai, both of them. MSK, quick show of hands, both the wrist spinners in your lineup as well?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, so now these are some of the most certain names. Now we'll come down to the problematic areas.
Jatin,
Rohit
I just have
himself,
one.
Yeah.
I just have one other thing. Say, if Jadeja is a certainty, okay, if you're thinking that Jadeja is a certainty, so is that Kulcha and also Akshar Patel here? How is
so
that?
Shaz mentioned, 4 spinners. I will come to the overall.
No, you have to look at the balance and who is if Bumrah is fully fit. You have to see that Bumrah becomes a very big, because if Bumrah is not fit, then you got to strengthen your bowling department somewhere else. You have to see now what kind of tracks in Sri Lanka. So I'm just, those 3 are certain: Jadeja, Kuldeep, and Chahal. Akshar very much there in the mix for me, because I don't want to take another medium pacer just for the sake of taking a fast bowler. In those conditions. 3
I have Akshar as my standby.
With an all-rounder.
So we are not considering
Akshar in my standby.
Sandy Bhai, MSK, we've got an entire segment on bowling. We'll come down to that. But since we're just finishing, these were just some of the certainties. So now we'll come to the most hotly debated position, that is number 4. If you've been watching our show, Ishan Kishan has been picked because India need a wicket keeper, and our experts have come to a consensus that get Ishan Kishan in the top order, and between Shubman, Virat and Rohit, figure out the top 4. But if you are to also pick 4 and 5, Rohit Sharma made it very clear that since Yuvraj Singh retired, India really struggled for a top 4, a guaranteed player at number 4. 18 players have been tried at the number 4 position since Yuvraj Singh is retired. What is the solution? Shaz, in a non-ideal world, if the top 4 is not as we've predicted, then who is the number 4 elect? The names, again, there is someone who's recovering from an injury, that's Shreyas. We do not know the extent of his recovery. The other name is the enigma, Surya Kumar Yadav, who is himself said by his own admission, yet to crack the ODI format. Who's your pick for that role? 4 or 5?
I'm very impressed with Tilak Varma. Very, very impressed with Tilak Varma. And I want a left-hander. So, if I'm looking for a left-hander in the middle order, you mentioned Yuvraj Singh, and before that was Suresh Raina at 5. But I would, really look in that direction. Sandy and MSK have been selectors. So, obviously if I was a selector and I'm with my panel, I'll be looking at that current form and looking at how he's getting his runs. So when I look at the way he's got his runs over the last 3 months, whether it is for Mumbai Indians, whether it is for India, whether it's handling pressure, whether it's opposition, whether it is different situations of the game, he's ticked all the boxes for someone so young. When it comes to shot selection, when it comes to range of shots, the ability to be unorthodox, he has everything. So I'll be looking at him very closely, and he's hot at the moment. His mindset, his confidence, he understands situations, which is for me the most important thing. And he has a good temperament.
Yeah. Sadibhai, it just reminds people, obviously Shikhar Dhawan had played some cricket before 2013. You put him alongside Rohit Sharma at the top of the order, and rest in many ways was history. Tilak Varma, 3 T20Is. The pressure handling, is that something which puts him ahead in this race more than even numbers? Yes, list A cricket, he's played 25 odd matches. He's got 500s, 550s, but the temperament you've seen in hot conditions against big bowlers, is he a favourite? Should we be bold and hand him a debut if need be it in these big tournaments? Tilak Varma in the middle order.
100%. But along with Tilak Varma, I'll also go with Surya Kumar Yadav, and then decide in the actual match, looking at the balance, looking at the opposition, who will be in the side. But Tilak Varma and Surya Kumar Yadav both will be in my team.
I agree totally.
Okay, MSK?
The question right now is, if KL Rahul is not fit, if KL Rahul is not fit, so your first choice keeper is Ishan Kishan, then you still have to pick one more wicket keeper. So who is, even if it is that case, then it will be a fight between Tilak Varma and Sanju Samson. But see, ideally, definitely Tilak Varma should get into the squad by all means. But if you are looking at second wicket keeper, so that's when the issue might come up. Otherwise, Tilak Varma should walk in.
Sandeep Ravi, if Tilak Varma is a certainty and Surya is the other option, it's a very valid point. That was the next name that I was going to offer, and figure out what do we do. You need a backup wicket keeper, or how do you make space for a backup keeper?
I don't think backup wicket keeper is necessary, because the tournament will be played in our this thing. So we can always, if there's something happens, fingers crossed, something happens to Ishan Kishan, then we can always get Sanju Samson overnight to any place.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
or
same.
you can take 3 guys to Sri Lanka. Take 3 guys to Sri Lanka, who can be part of the net. So, just there, if something happens, like even something happens to a spinner and you need Akshar Patel there, he can come in, at any time. So, it's close by. I think that's the way boards should look in the future, where, you can take extra players. COVID has taught you that. One thing you learned from COVID was how to travel with a bigger unit, and sometimes how it can come handy.
Yep. So played in the same time zone. You're not really bothered about flights, acclimatization, and just keep someone on standby, keep them ready. So then Tilak Varma and Surya Kumar Yadav are the 2 middle order bats we're going in with. Show of hands, everyone agrees? Okay, yep. There we go. Young Tilak Varma has done enough to impress everybody in this selection meeting. As we stand, we've got 10 names. Let me just quickly take you through them. Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, Ishan Kishan, Tilak Varma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, Yuzvendra Chahal, and Kuldeep Yadav. Just a quick question before we get into a break and then come down to the composition and how many bowlers do we really need, how many spinners, how many pacers, the big question on Bumrah. Spin bowling all-rounders, are they going to get more weightage given the tournament is in India vis-a-vis the fascination that you need to have a pacer who can bat?
Yeah, I think it should be a spin bowling all rounder. Yes, there is absolutely no doubt in that, and we have that also. We have that in Jadeja. We have that in Akshar Patel. I still fancy my thing on Ashwin. I don't know because you're playing in Asian conditions, and I think he's one guy who might be very handy. You have so many left-handers in the oppositions right now. Australia is filled with left-handers. We've seen that. So eventually, I think Ashwin will definitely be a useful because he's in best state of mind also right now. He's in a ripe age also. So you never know. I think when we look at it, he can be handy, especially we are playing in Sri Lanka and in India.
Right, there's another name that's in the mix. Absolute legend, Ravi Ashwin. Got my three selectors here. So the names that we discussed in the bowling department was Yuzvendra Chahal, Kuldeep Yadav, and Ravindra Jadeja are three names. One spin all-rounder, two wrist spinners. MSK brought up the name of Ravi Ashwin as well. Shaz, so it's Ashwin versus Akshar Patel. Your pick.
No, in fact, they'll both be in the standby because if you're picking two wrist spinners and Jadeja, okay, so you've got three. You'll obviously keep the other two in the mix. You have to see what your combination is now. If you've got three spinners, you've got one wicket keeper there. If you pick three spinners, how many have you got, Jatin? 10 or 11?
10. 10 with these three spinners, and we haven't looked at any pacer or a backup keeper yet.
Yeah, have you got Hardik Pandya in that?
Yes.
Okay, so then you have room for 5.
Yeah, I'll quickly take you through the names again if you want, Shaz. So Rohit, Shubman, Virat, Ishan Kishan, Tilak Verma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, Yuzi Chahal, Kuldeep Yadav.
Okay, so now you start with the pacers because for me the pacers are important. If you need 4 over there, you already have one all-rounder. So if Bumrah is fit, he walks in. Shami walks in. That is 2.
Siraj.
You've got Siraj as a backup.
Arshdeep.
And if needed, Shardul can be there. Shardul has done well in the West Indies in the one-day game. He can be a backup, and then you have room for one more. Is that right?
The three names that everyone nodded their heads to, and understandably so, is Jasprit Bumrah, depending on what we see in Ireland, and then maybe the Asia Cup, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami, and Mohammad Siraj. Correct? I'll pen these three names down.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is it that you want to see? Obviously, we're seeing a slightly different format, Shaz, but should we go on the word given how now Jasprit Bumrah's entire rehab process post-surgery has been handled with also VVS Lakshman closely monitoring it at the NCA? Can we sort of believe that he's fully fit and it's now just about building up the workload to the World Cup?
I mean, you'll only know if he's fully fit when you see him playing in matches. That's when you get the fair idea of how, no amount of bowling in the nets, is going to tell you how fit a player is. There's one thing called net fitness. There's one thing called match fitness. You'll only understand how match fit a player is when he plays in a game. So these 3 games become very important for Jasprit. He's captaining the side, so he'll know exactly, how to use himself there. And it'll give you a fair idea. And, to be fair, the whole world's waiting for him because he's one of those kind of bowlers, who rose to the pinnacle so quickly with some brilliant performances. So, fingers crossed, we want to see the best of him.
Yep. Okay. I have to do this. And I'm hoping that, this segment never plays out and we never have the need for this conversation. But if in case we do not have a fully fit Jasprit Bumrah, because as selectors, you've got to keep someone as your backup, who is then the exact backup. So Siraj, Shami, and Bumrah in your first squad. As backup, 2 names that I'm offering here. One is Shardul Thakur. Sandeep, I think you said Arshdeep, and it was a bit surprising that Arshdeep wasn't really part of the 3 ODIs in the West Indies. He's only played 3 ODIs because he's someone who also offers you that variety, right? That's something that we've spoken about the last 2 World Cups.
That was my argument.
The pace department needs variety.
Exactly. That was my argument. You need to have one left arm simmer.
Is he currently your backup for Bumrah, or is he someone you want in the 15?
No, he will be my backup for Bumrah.
I'll also go with
Yeah,
backup.
backup.
Okay, so Arshdeep is your backup. Any eyes on Prasidh Krishna?
Again, he's not played. See, you can't just when someone's been in a rehab to even think of him. I don't think is fair on the individual.
Correct.
Okay,
I
all
think
right.
that
So
should
we've
be
got
very clear, especially with fast bowlers. It should be very clear. If a guy is coming back from injury, from rehab, he has to play. He has to play a few matches before you can even think of his selection.
Okay, gentlemen, finally left with two spots. We've got two spots open, so now we can come back to that all-rounder debate. Do you want to go in with an Akshar / Ashwin, both, Shardul Thakur, an extra batter, keeper? Let's begin. Two spots available, Shaz.
I think, to be fair, I'll go straight with both the all-rounders, Akshar and Shardul. Gives me an opportunity. And keep Sanju Samson on standby in case something happens to a keeper there, where he can just fly out. So it's pretty straight for me.
Okay, so Akshar Patel and Shardul, two all-round options, one spin all-rounder. His stocks have obviously been soaring. Akshar Patel the last couple of seasons, and Shardul Thakur, who just seems to have a little magic touch in big challenging moments. Sandy Bhai, your vote of confidence on these two names, or is there anyone else you'd like to bring in?
No, I'll go with what Ravi said because I again want to remember 1983, the combination we had. We had many all-rounders in the team, and having all-rounders in the team, gives so much of variety, and you can you can choose anybody. I'll go with that.
Okay, Sandy Bhai, MSK. So
Yeah,
we lock
straight
the
call.
two spots
That's a
with these
straight
names.
call. I think I'm absolutely okay with those two all-rounders. It's a big bonus for us. The whole squad looks absolutely fantastic, Jatin. I only thing that is running back of my mind is the experience of Ashwin, if it can be a handy. If that is the case, maybe do you really require two wrist spinners? That's also one area is the only thing that I am thinking because Ashwin is of that age right now. I think and that too with so many left-handers. So see, if you see, all your Jadeja or Chahal or even Akshar, almost very similar type. If you see ball going outside for it, what about for left-handers? I mean that's the only cause of concern for me. I think if he misses out. I think we'll miss him. I think I'll definitely
I
think
think
that
it
we'll
is
miss him.
Kuldeep's job to sort out the left-handers.
Yes, that's the option that right now we have. But if you see, if statistically also, the best of the left-handers in the world struggled against him. And let's not forget we are playing in India and also Sri Lanka, which suits his bowling.
Yeah, but like Ravi said, it's Kuldeep's job. We've been discussing this over
No,
so
no,
many years.
and sometimes Jatin,
2011. Yeah.
sometimes Jatin, this left-hander, right-hander thing is a little overplayed. To be honest, I
Absolutely.
got out enough left-handers in my time as a left-arm spinner. This theory about lefties can't bowl to lefties is, I think, bullshit. You can get left-handers out. In that theory, off-spinners cannot bowl to right-handers, and off-spinners have got enough right-handers out. So
Yeah.
it's what's the right balance and what's the right mix. I think this is a very good side you have picked. I think a side that can go the distance can even win a World Cup. I think India this year has a great chance, and let's give our best wishes to this team you have just picked, Jatin.
I have the team that I have jotted
Yeah, you're
down.
chairman. No. Yeah, you're the chairman here. So don't. We are just part of the committee.
Don't run away from the
MSK are part of the
responsibility,
committee.
Jatin.
You're the chairman.
You have
Just,
chairman.
just the fact that I live 100 meters from Ajit Agarkar's house does not make me even the de facto chairman.
No.
So I will send this.
Let the players watch this program And the guys who have not been picked, let them come after you because we are going to say what chairman ne pick kiya.
Thanks, Shaz. I'm so glad we have you on the show. Towards the end, we've got the man in his elements. Okay, but so like basically the debate that's been going around is of course given KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer and their fitness, but our selectors here have gone in with form, players who are fully fit. They want to go in with those who are coming at the back of playing consistent cricket. So let's put out our Star Sports 15-member squad that's been picked to go on to conquer hopefully the continent and the world. Let me just come up with the whole list first, MSK, then I'll come to you. So Rohit Sharma, captain. Hopefully this is going to be part of his legacy when we do another show 3 months down the line. Ishan Kishan, they've got to figure out a way to get him to bat in the top order. Shubman Gill and Virat Kohli to form the top four. You've got young Tilak Verma, who's got vote of confidence. Whether or not he plays, he'll probably have to battle it out with Surya Kumar Yadav, the enigma. All-round options in Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, Shardul Thakur and Akshar Patel. Two wrist spinners in Yuzvendra Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav. And then you've got the three fast bowlers, Mohammad Siraj, Mohammad Shami, and hopefully a searing, ready to go, red hot, Jasprit Bumrah. It looks good, this.
Yeah. My last question, Jatin, is what if KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer are fit?
They have to play matches. Give them some matches before the Asia Cup.
Okay, if they are found fit and if they are playing, then
where are they playing? They should be picking the team, na? Abhi to shuru ho jata hai Asia Cup. Where will they play?
You know, on Star Sports, we don't have a board president, but we've got all the stakeholders, which are obviously the viewers and fans. They've been debating ends on for the last so many weeks. So let's bring in their thoughts on this team as well. This is obviously our experts, been there, done that. Perhaps the most credible panel that we could have picked for selection day to try and find out way forward for Team India to end this long wait. It's been a long time. 2013, a decade ago, is the last time when we won an ICC trophy. But here's hoping that with these 15, or even if there are a few changes, that the men in blue finally end that wait. Asia Cup and the World Cup right here on Star Sports. We'll be seeing you very soon on the day that the actual squad is announced. Selectors, thank you very much. Thanks for your company. Hoping to see you in person very soon, very shortly. That's all we've got on Selection Day. Send in your teams, your thoughts at the Red Star Sports India.